This is Gareth Southgate, and this is the Three Lions podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England football team supporters podcast where we try and look at all the aspects of the England team, be it the senior men, the women or the youngsters. If you're a new listener, hello. If you're a regular, thank you for continuing to listen to my ramblings. Now, the most recent episode previewed the She Believes Cup, which the Lionesses are looking to retain this month. Thank you very much for all your kind comments on it. And we'll revisit the competition later this month to see how they got on. We'll also touch on the Nations League draw, which by the time you listen to this will have taken place, so we'll dissect that next time. Moving on to this episode. In the past, I've been fortunate enough to sit down with some people that have worked with the England team, be it Gary Lewin, the physio, be it Peter Taylor, previous England manager. Now, once again, I have spoken to someone who has had first-hand experience of working with England. And when I say England, or the England team, who or what comes to mind? The starting 11? The squad? Manager? Physio? Trainer? Kit man? Communications manager, coach driver. There are so many pieces of the puzzle that need to be put together for the team to function. Now, I'm sure 11 to 15 players could organise themselves to play a game with someone, but pre and post match, who's going to ensure their nutritional and dietary requirements are catered for? The England head chef, of course. Now, I sat down with Tim Diath in a busy restaurant, where else, to have a chat. Now, I apologise for some of the background noise, but I've done my best to edit it out, and I hope you enjoy what he has to say. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Tim Diath. Tim.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Let's get it out of the way first. The surname is spelled death, as it were, but it's pronounced Diath.
Yeah, it's basically from the ancestors. It goes back to Belgium, where we traced it to, and it's from a town sort of like called D of Ath. So that's why it's abbreviated to D of Ath. So yeah, but it's quite common in England, so it's not as uncommon as you think. So.
Oh. I'm yet to see it on the back of an England shirt.
Yeah, I don't think there will be.
Well, you were England head chef between 2009 and 2017?
Yes, yep, about that time. Yes, I was.
How did all that come about?
I was at West Ham as team chef there at West Ham, and during my time at West Ham, when Gianfranco Zola took over, there was also a guy there called Christian Latanso, who was not an assistant manager, but just one of Zola's men. He was working for England at the time under Capello.
Oh, yeah.
And they were looking for a new chef at the time because they just wanted to have a little bit more of a change or just something different. So basically, I went for an interview with the FA and basically got the job. So which I kept for all those years while I was still working at West Ham as well.
So join in conjunction with each other.
Yeah. So whenever there was an international break, I would go away and do my stuff with England, and then obviously come back and then start back at West Ham.
So what does an interview for being a chef involve?
To be fair, it was more of a just to look at who I am as a person, whether I would fit into the FA, and what I was doing, and what I could change or what I could improve, and go from there really. So it was basically quite an easy interview. I had a quick interview with Capello as well, but really and truthfully, it was quite an easy process because of my background is Italian cooking anyway, so my sort of Italian cooking sort of helped out straight away from getting on with Capello as well.
I've heard that he was a little bit different in his attitudes. Would that be?
I wouldn't say different in his attitude, in his methods. It was it was just an Italian way of doing things rather than an English way of doing things. So even down to food and things like that, it would be that he didn't like players having tomato ketchup, which when you explain it to him, it wasn't the fact of that everybody had tomato ketchup. It was like probably a couple of them had ketchup, but then they could have 2 litres of olive oil if they wanted to. So it was a case of trying to explain to him about English cultures, of those kind of things, like the simple things which people do enjoy, and it doesn't really affect anybody's play anyway, really, to having a little bit of ketchup on a scrambled eggs or poached eggs or something like that. So it wasn't that difficult. It was again, his initial standard of foods with Italians is fantastic. So it was just raising the bar and bringing more homegrown, organic sort of foods rather than fried foods and things like that as well. So it was quite a good process of doing it. I had a blank canvas really, because the food before was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good, but it was of a different to what moving forward with football is, because it's all about nutrition now, about proteins and not having too many carbs and just building a dietary requirements around those sort of things really.
Because historically England and football and food, especially going back to I guess around the 66 World Cup time, it was very much sort of fry up and I guess moving forwards, as a lot of people talk of pasta. A way of changing things going forward then, was it?
I think it was like the initial. It was a massive change when I first went in there. It literally was a pasta station before a game. Again, when I first went into football, that's what it was about. It was all about getting the carbs into your body before a game. So sort of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would be carb loading to get ready for a game. Whereas now it's completely different. They're all athletes. They're all live on a protein diet now, protein and vitamin diet. Very rarely touch carbs now, unless they're in a situation where they are playing game after game after game, where you just need carbs to fuel yourself really. But it is now a protein sort of diet, which is why they're so lean and have got no weight on them at all. So they are literally athletes, and that's what keeps them fit now.
Well, you went to 2 World Cups and 2 European Championships, is that right?
Yeah, 3 Euros and 2 World Cups.
So that was South Africa and Brazil, both very different from here in England. What was preparation like for that, and sort of different foods over there? Do you have to test them or something?
We basically do what people don't realise. What we do is we do a lot of recce's. The FA are very, very good at preparation. So the preparation for things, for World Cups, Euro Championships, even games, is people don't realise what goes on. Whereas you'll have a group of people go out, so you'll have basically 2 or 3 policemen will go out with you. They're the ones that do the stadium security, check the stadiums, check all the legalities for that sort of stuff. Then you'll have Michelle, who used to be the main boss at the FA for me. So she was like the controller of the first team. So she would go out. Then you would have Gary Lewin go out, who's the physio. You possibly have another physio go out as well, depending on what state of play the actual hotel would have been, if it was a good hotel, bad hotel. Then you'd have anything from me going out there. You'd also have anybody that was in any division of the football, so not so much the football side of things, because that was all okay, but the actual bases around the football, you'd have a representation from each department, so that when you actually go to the hotel on the actual day before a game or the 2 days before a game, you know exactly where everything is, you know exactly where, like for me, where the kitchens are, what they'll already know the menus, they'll already know that I'm coming, they'll always know that they've got to give me 2 or 3 people to help me. So the planning was unbelievably good in that respect, and still is today. I still look back at it with good memories now. You know what I mean? So, but I don't miss it. But it was a good time, especially the World Cups. I mean, doing the World Cup, it was being there for, again, like even the South Africa World Cup, or more so the Brazil one. I mean, going that distance, I mean, we'd done like 4 recce's on Brazil, going there, just making sure everything was okay, the whole lot, and then playing in different places like Manaus, when we played a game over there, and trying to get food there was difficult. We had to fly a lot of food from where we were in Copacabana Beach around there, fly it with us to take there, because Manaus was not not a good place to find foods, and to try and keep people without having bad bellies, bad stomachs, infections, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's a big operation, and again, even down to food that we produced, you still get FIFA come round. They take samples as well, because if you ever got anybody sick, they would have parts of the food that would that they could test to see if that was, because if you had to pull a game off, stop a game through that, you could sort of find
much like
out.
Any regular high street restaurant, I guess.
Yeah, exactly the same. There's lots of things that the public don't know that goes on to fuel the team and to keep them going, really, because it is literally, again, straight after a game. You imagine when you finish a game, say we're playing Italy in Italy, and you finish a game and it's 11 o'clock at night, you've got to fuel the players after the game, then you've got to get them onto a bus, then you've got to get them onto a plane, then you've got to get them back to England, then back to their places where they live, all that sort of stuff. So, but all that time they're doing that, they're all coming down off of playing football, and they want fueling, food, nutrition, rehydrating, everything. So it's a constant battle to feed them and to rehydrate them.
So you're not really mixing with the players initially, and you can't away from the players until dinner time.
Not really. I mean, it's funny because the restaurant becomes like the vocal point for everybody to meet. So they would have. We changed the format where we started having 5 meals a day. So it was becoming like a breakfast, then have a 10 o'clock snack, then they go and train, then they have lunch, then they have an afternoon snack, then they have an evening meal as well. But these are all small amounts of food and all protein based, so never put any weight on. So the actual restaurant became the games room, it all became one combined room. So
like communal area.
Yeah, so if they wanted to chill out, they could just come there. So you would see the players quite a lot at the time. But again, the one thing they did look forward to was eating, because the boredom in their rooms sometimes used to get to them, and they would always look forward to having food. So it was like a highlight of the day, really.
And did you cover drinks as well, or was it just your food, your side of things?
Yeah, no, we do. Again, there's always like a nutritionist that would come with us or give us advice on what to do. So we would always have like smoothie stations, drink stations. Never allowed to have fizzy drinks, anything like that. It was all literally organic grown stuff. Smoothies for breakfast, smoothies for lunch, and smoothies for evening, which always went down well. But again, we used to put out a large variety of that sort of stuff, and they could also mix and match and make their own. We have like these things called NutriBullets now, which a lot of people have at home. Basically, you can throw anything into that
blender.
Yeah. So you can throw in all your fruits, your yogurts, some apple juices, stuff like that. So you can make any drink you want out of those, and they're so easy to use. And the players have them at the club level as well, so they would be used to using those as well. So we used to set up a bank of NutriBullets, so they could just literally help themselves wherever they wanted to.
When you mentioned like organic food there, and sort of leads me on to kind of vegetarianism and veganism, and I think, is it Raheem Sterling is a vegan?
No, Raheem was always a fairly normal eater.
Oh, I apologise, Raheem.
No, he might be now, obviously since I finished, but a lot of players do change to vegan, just because it does make the body feel better, it rehydrates the body better, obviously you feel better by eating those sort of foods, so a lot of them do try it and a lot of them stick to it, but there is now in the Premiership, Championship, there's a lot of people that are vegans now. Not so much in my era at England, because my sort of era was like when I first started, it was sort of Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, David Beckham, all those sort of players, and basically we were just trying to change. It was like a transition period of changing the diet to becoming no pastas, more proteins, and more healthy organic options. And by the time that we actually finished doing it all, everything was organic, everything. So it was all fresh products and good quality things, depending on obviously what countries we were in. But again, most countries have got the same facilities as what we've got, so it was quite a good setup that we had.
You mentioned the big names there, Stevie G and Frank Lampard, David Beckham. Any favourite foods that they would always ask for?
To be fair, I mean, a lot of them are fairly plain eaters. I mean, there was never anybody that was really overeating or favouritism because we had so much food options. The diet was quite a big dietary requirement. So we had such a choice. So we would have anything from 4 or 5 or 6 main courses. But when I say 6 main courses, it wouldn't be sauces and all that sort of stuff. It would be like a fillet steak, a grilled chicken, nice fresh fishes, all stuff like that. So it was a massive choice to choose from. The only thing that I would say with a lot of the players is that after a game, they always wanted to have something very simple because they're on their diets every single day. So after a game, on a game day, they would prefer to have something like a pizza, maybe a curry, a healthy curry. Sometimes we do fat chips, big fat chips, so the fat didn't saturate. But apart from that, not really. I mean, they were all true professionals. I mean, my first job that I first had with England was obviously feeding 23 of them, which was, they were all international players and they were all superstars at the time. So me walking in to do that was quite a feat, really. But again, just changing the ways the FA did things and just upping the standards. So,
did you feel the pressure walking in there for the first time?
I didn't really feel the pressure because I was at West Ham for a lot of time, so I know how players work. I know how players, when to leave players alone, when to chat to a player, when not to chat to a player. But again, leading back to the FA, it was such a professional organisation. You felt like it was just like a club level football. Although it was very professional, very, very good. You had the likes of Liverpool players, Man City players, Chelsea players, and again, we tried to emphasise the fact that the food that we did was, if anything, was matching the training grounds where they were, or if not, making it better for them, and then getting ideas to go back to the training grounds, or they would give us ideas of what they're using at their training grounds. So it was quite a good setup.
One story I did read, and it goes back to before your time with England, but 2002, Sven-Göran Eriksson apparently asked for Jaffa Cakes to be part of the food available. Is that something that you would say is a good idea? It just seems a little strange to me.
To be fair, I mean, again, times change with football. So when I first went into football, part of the match day process, not so much the day-to-day, but the actual match day, was things like jelly babies, wine gums, Jaffa Cakes, anything sugary to get sugar into their body before a game, which now is not as important. It's more nutritional based stuff now as well. But yeah, you're right. It was Jaffa Cakes was always a big part of a match day, just to give the players a little bit of a boost.
Perhaps I can still make it. Jaffa Cakes I like to nibble on. I read a story about yourself and some rice pudding. Do you want to enlighten us about that?
Is that the Raheem Sterling one?
Yeah, Raheem Sterling was mentioned, unless there's another one as well.
No, we used to always make rice pudding day before a game. So, and basically, Raheem, as far as I know, used to love it because he used to say to me it was really nice. And basically, we used to sort of try and make it every single day before a match day. But then Raheem would always ask for it every day, so he would always want rice pudding every day, which I tried to accommodate as much as I could and do it as healthy as possible. So, but yeah, he's a big rice pudding fan, which was good. I certainly made a point of it, even down to like probably about 4 months ago. I went back to the England game, which is one of the first games that I've gone back to. Got invited into the Players' Lounge, and Raheem was there, and he just said, "Oh, I miss your rice pudding." So it was quite good.
Well, the other rice pudding story I heard about was a 10-litre vat, one that went down a lift shaft. Yep. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right. That was. It's basically so the situation in hotels sometimes is that you're not necessarily on ground level, so you could be I could be cooking downstairs in a kitchen, and then I've got to take the food 3 floors up to wherever the safe place was, or the place that they'd chosen to eat. So basically I'd made 2 what they call gastron trays of rice pudding, put it onto a trolley, put it into the lift, got up to the second floor. As I'm coming out of the second floor, the trolley tipped slightly, and actually both of the trays sort of come down sideways and both whole trays had gone down the whole lift shaft. And I still, to this day, there was never a trace from different floors. We just couldn't. It had just literally just gone straight down to the bottom. So it had gone straight through. But again, that day they had no rice pudding, which was a bit of a headache. But at the time it was quite funny.
You took some stick for that, did you?
Yeah, definitely did. Yeah, definitely did.
You must have some other great little anecdotes you can share with us.
It's weird, because people think that a lot of things happen when you're away and stuff like that, but it's actually so organised and so pristine to what you're doing and time-wise and all that sort of stuff. You have a laugh and a joke, at the right times. But to be fair, we've had a few funny little things, but on the whole, the players are always been, and even today, like when I retired from doing it, they were still top drawer. They like a laugh and a giggle as well, but again, it's at the right times. So to hand, I can't even think of anything at the moment. But there probably stuff that come to me, but it was a good time, especially when you go away and you have a day off and you relax a little bit, and you can chill out with some of the players. I mean, I used to chill out with Robert Green quite a lot because Robert Green was at West Ham.
Okay.
So I'd always chill out with him, but then also I would know Michael Carrick, I would know Joe Cole, I would know the ones that have been at West Ham before as well. So obviously, and then the likes of John Terry and things like that, I'd known from previous people that knew them as well. So we used to get on really well, and it was like a big family. But again, it was just like a machine. Sort of every day was very similar, but organisation was brilliant.
So many listeners will be like a five-a-side match on a Monday night straight after work. What would you suggest for someone like me, just Joe Bloggs off the street, to put in his body before going out for a kickabout?
Do you know what? It's funny because everybody says that about normal people, but at the end of the day, if you're playing football and you're playing it to a decent level, or you're playing five-a-side, whatever, you have to fuel your body, and that's what a lot of people don't do. It is that it doesn't really necessarily mean that you have to eat loads of carbs or eat loads of food, but it's just to eat a balanced diet before you actually play, because if you play on an empty stomach or you don't rehydrate yourself properly, you're not going to perform as good as what you should do. Same with footballers. Like I say, if you get a footballer that's unwell, slightly unwell, and they're dehydrated, you can test the dehydration levels and then try and get their rehydration levels back up before they go and play. But sometimes, you'll see one player that doesn't play as well as what he should be, but that because it could be of an illness, it could be that he's not feeling too good, stuff like that. So they're only normal people, and they only get they get illnesses the same as everybody else does. But again, supporters just expect them to perform for 90 minutes, 100%. But if some of them are not well, then that does affect their performance. But as I say, as a five-a-side sort of thing, I mean, for me, eating light food, not heavy food, so like scrambled eggs, toast, things like that as well before a game, and then obviously after the game is when you need to refuel to put in what you've taken out. So a lot of people don't realise that players will lose up to 2 kilos in weight on a game, and that's due to water really. So the amount that they sweat now, so you have to re-put that back into your body, and that's why a lot of players have to refuel and rehydrate and do that after the game to get those levels back into their body.
So in all that time, what's that, 9 years of being at England, what would say your highlight would be?
I'll be honest, I think I've had a blessed life in that respect, whereas there's only, to my knowledge, since I've been doing it, there's only been me, one other, and then the guy that's taken over from me. There's only 3 chefs in a space of 25 years, I think. So I've been blessed to have been England chef for that long, and the highlight for me really was every single day. I never didn't enjoy 1 minute of it, even when we were not playing that good, or the actual behind the scenes was always was set up so that it was never be able to fail off there. And again, I think I used to kick myself or pinch myself every single day because I never not enjoyed 1 minute of it. Every time that I met up for England, it was like it was like I was pinching myself every time because I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the company, and I enjoyed the actual setup of working for the FA. But age creeps up on you, and sometimes you think to yourself, you know what, it might be time for me to give it up, because I'm not getting any younger, and give somebody else a chance to do it. So, but again, for me, the whole amount of years that I did it was incredible, and I've got fantastic memories of just to be involved in 2 World Cups. And to be involved in Euro Championships, and to be involved in any international game. I mean, I think I did 109 games. I think I did, which is quite a lot of games to do. And again, I don't think I ever woke up thinking I've got to go to work or anything. It was just a fun time and a very, very, very good job to have. So I pinch myself really.
And what do you do with your time now? You're retired.
Well, again, I've retired from West Ham as well, so I don't work for West Ham anymore. I've gone into partnership with a friend of mine that was he was player liaison officer at Man City, which is what I did at West Ham. At the end of it, I didn't actually cook at West Ham. Towards the end of it, I was player liaison officer. So we've gone into business, into a concierge company, and we still look after probably 20, 30 players. We look after pop stars, and we look after high net worth people. Just organising their lives really, which could be anything from booking a restaurant to a hotel to a flight, getting a private chef in for them, private dinner parties, basically anything in their lifestyle that they need help with. So we've concentrated on that now. So I'm I'm semi-retired from football, which is good because football is a young man's game. It's the same as a footballer. Like when you get to 34. 33, 34, your legs are starting to get tired, and it's the same as me. Like cooking, I'm 52 now. I've enjoyed but I enjoyed every minute of doing what I've done. Again, West Ham, I did over 1,000 games for West Ham, and England doing that. I mean, it's a chef's dream to have been, the head chef of the FA, looking after the first team, and to be the head chef at West Ham. So really thoroughly enjoyed it, but. Again, everything comes to an end.
Well, I wish you all the very best with the future project, and thank you very much for your time you've given us here.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
There we go. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you to Tim for his time and insight. Another angle of the England operation that I wasn't aware of. Now, Tim can be found both on Twitter at Tim Diath and Instagram at tim.diath.3. Remember, you spell Diath, death, D-E-A-T-H. Give him a follow over there. Likewise, we are also on Twitter, Facebook and also Instagram. Just search 3 Lions Podcast, you should find us. And all previous episodes can be found at 3lionspodcast.com and your usual podcast provider. It would be great if you can let us know what you think by leaving a positive review on the likes of iTunes, or if you get in contact, please do, as I say, all the usual social media channels. Now, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, we'll be back very soon, looking back on the She Believes Cup and the Nations League draw. Plus, this month we'll have another of our supporters' memories of England at the European Championships. And we'll also have one where we preview Italy and Denmark too. So please do stay subscribed for those. So until then, cheers!